If you're having trouble with mathematics, numbers getting problematic, don't you panic. Check MathWiz, the best math tutor on the planet. From fraction to algebra, simple maths, add up some trigonometry into that. Learning math is fun with MathWiz, and that's a fact. We're rooting for you.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another MathWiz Academy video. If you have not been here before, welcome. If this is your first time, I really hope you'll find the videos useful. So today we're going to be going through solving, but we're going to be focusing on the past paper questions that required factorization of quadratics, and then going into the whole solving. So if you have not already known how to factorize your quadratic expressions, of course I want you to click the link. Go ahead, do that, do your refresher, and then you can come back so that today's class will function pretty well. And then also solving, because after we factorize the quadratic, we are then going to need to solve. So if you have a problem with solving, you can also click that link, and I believe you will find it useful. All right, so once you have met those prerequisite topics, I would say we are good to go and we can jump right into it. So the first question that we're going to do is May 2018, and it is 2B, and it is the second part, right? So they have 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now they do not specify what method you should use. And why haven't they specified, right? Because this is a quadratic, so let's do a little side thing. So our quadratic expression, or in this case equation, right, you're going to have it in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Now there are three ways that you can solve. So you could use solving it by factorization. The second one is using the quadratic formula, or you could complete the square, right? I mean, for this video, I'm going to be focusing on using the factorization method. So this will also help you to go and brush up on factorizing your quadratics, right? But I'm just explaining to you why it is that they did not specify the method and why it is important to know all the methods, because if they do specify, then of course you would need to know how to do that. And in the second question that I'm going to do, they do specify to do it by factorization. All right, so we're just going to use this video to go through that. So according to the MathWiz method and how I teach you to solve your quadratics, right? So let's just focus on, so what I'm focusing on for this is factorizing the left-hand side first, right? So the first thing I tell you to do is to identify A, B, and C. So A is 2, B is 5, C is minus 3. Then we find A times C, which is 2 times minus 3, which is minus 6. You then, if you go ahead, as I said, I think you should click the link just to see the MathWiz method for solving your, or factorizing your quadratic expressions, because I don't want to take up too much of the time teaching it in here. So what you're essentially doing is you're thinking about all the factor pairs that you can use to multiply to get minus 6. So for example, I can use 1 and minus 6, or I could use minus 1 and 6, right? So for minus 6, I could use 1 and minus 6, or minus 1 and 6. So you're just thinking about all the pairs that you can add. So I can use 2 and minus 3, or minus 2 and 3, right? And that's how I tell you to kind of put it out. Then we're looking for the pair that when we add it together, we get B. So B is 5. So the pair that meets this criteria would be minus 1 times 6, which when I add them together, I get 5. And as I said, if you are not comfortable with this, just go ahead, watch the factorization video, master it, and then when you come over here, this will be a lot easier, right? So now that I have the pair, so I'm just going to erase some of this just so that we have the space. That was just like a brief refresher, right? So the pair that we are going to use is -1 and 6. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I have 2x squared minus x plus 6x minus 3 is equal to 0. Then I go ahead and I factorize. So I would have x, 2x minus 1. Whatever goes in the first bracket goes in the second one. Then we figure out what goes in front of the second bracket, which you can do all the work to see that it would be positive 3. So in the end, we would have x plus 3, 2x minus 1. Of course, if your teacher has already taught you another way, you don't have to do it my way. Just go ahead and factorize it how you know best. Again, if you are wondering where I'm getting all of those numbers and letters from, you need to go ahead, watch the video, go and perfect it, and then come back, because we're not using this as a teaching session. We're using it to go through the past paper. However, there are videos that are on the page that can help you to learn. All right, so this is similar to a question that we worked in the second part, I believe, of the solving videos, where I said that if we have two things multiplied by each other, so this is like A times B, and they're equal to 0, then one of them has to be 0, right? So if you have A times B is equal to 0, either A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 0, or it could be both. So we go through with x plus 3 equal to 0, which means that x would be, so this 3 which is added, when we take it across, we are going to subtract. All right, so we do the opposite. So this is where the solving comes in that I was talking about. So again, if you're not comfortable with solving, go ahead and watch that video. So 0 minus 3 is going to give us -3. So that's one of our answers. Then, all right, so I'm going to assume that we have maybe written this top part here. Of course, if not, you can maybe just pause the video, go back, right? And then you can always come back to this part. Right, and then for the second one, we have 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. So the -1, when we take it across, is going to become +1. So 2x is equal to 1. However, we're not finished there. So the 2 which is multiplied, when we take it across, we will divide. Right? So our two answers, x equal 1/2, x equal -3. Right? So for a question like this, you need to have two answers. So all quadratics have two answers. So your answer for this would be x equal 1/2 or x equal -3. Right? And you must have both answers in order to get full marks, right? So extremely important. Okay, so just go ahead, redo that, even try to redo it on your own. And if you are comfortable, then you can move on to the second one, which I am about to do. So while I'm erasing, you can go ahead and just turn over to a new page. Of course, I'm just going through, but you can always stop the video and try to work these questions on your own, get comfortable, and then try the second one. These videos are for you to work at your own pace, right? So ensure that you are making use of that. All right, so the next question we're going to do is May 2005, and it's question 9C. Right, which is 5x squared plus 2x minus 7 equals 0. So I'm realizing that they also didn't specify for this one. So again, you can use any of the three methods, but I'm going to be using the factorization method. Right, so of course you want to say A is 5, B is 2, C is -7. So A times C is 5 times -7, which is minus 35. The pair that when you multiply them, you get minus 35, but when you add them, you get 2 is going to be minus 5 and 7. So from there, we are going to have 5x squared minus 5x plus 7x minus 7 is equal to 0. So I factor. So I have 5x on the outside and then x minus 1. Whatever is in the first bracket goes in the second one. Then we figure out what goes in front, and that is going to be positive 7. So we have 5x plus 7, x minus 1 is equal to 0. So again, you have two things being multiplied equal to 0. So it means one of them has to be 0. So we're solving 5x plus 1 equals 0. This positive 1, when you take it over, is going to become minus or negative, however you prefer to say it. Right? So 5x is equal to minus 1. Then the 5, which is multiplied, when we take it across, this is 5x plus 7. Right? So it should be minus 7. My apologies. Right? So when you take it across, you will divide. Right? Or x minus 1 is equal to 0. So this minus 1, when we take it across, is going to become 0 plus 1. So x is just 1. So your two answers, x equal minus 7 over 5 and x equal to 1. So remember, for all your quadratics, you will have two answers at all times. Right? So your answer, you would say x equal 1 or x equal minus 7 over 5. Alright everyone, so I do hope this video you found it useful. Of course, be sure to leave your comment below. Be sure to watch the prerequisite videos. This is how you will get comfortable. Sometimes if you don't do the prerequisite videos, you may find the questions hard. So just ensure that you do your work, your part, which is to clear up on the areas needed for a question so that you can confidently attempt the questions. I just hope that you are continuing with your preparation. Keep pressing. Just go through the videos. They're all there for you. As we always say, I am rooting for you and I wish you all the very best as you continue to prepare. Until then, see you in the next video.